With all the hype of agents and generative AI, predictive AI is becoming more and more relevant.
Now the realm of possibilities, it is not just another means of transportation, medium, point A to point B. This is about a completely different way. And therein lies the opportunity for humans, goes to what you keep saying all the time, right? We all need to play to our strengths.
Welcome to the EIQ Waves Podcast, where we explore what it truly takes to scale automation across the enterprise, responsibly and intelligently. In each episode, we go beyond the buzzwords to bring you grounded insights from the leaders who are actively building, governing, and shaping the future of AI and automation in the real world. Today, we've got a great conversation lined up between two leaders shaping the future of automation at EvoluteIQ. Sanjay Koppikar, CPO and co-founder, the product visionary behind the platform driving it all, and Lokesh Venkatappa, SVP of Solutions Consulting, who works closely with enterprises to turn complex challenges into real-world outcomes. Together, they're connecting strategy, technology, and execution in some really impactful ways.
Agents can build bots. If they can analyze processes, they can build applications, optimize workflows. What is that uniquely thing which will remain human? The reason I'm asking is there's so much of uncertainty and fear with the AI-based disruption, and people keep reading about Oracle let go of people, Meta let go of people, Google let go of people. So what is it that remains uniquely human according to you?
Yeah, a very, very important and interesting question, Lokesh, because I think many people in the industry are grappling with this, right?
Correct.
What is so bots do exactly a lot of agents, AI agents do a lot of these things, right? Think about this in a different way. What they can't do, what I would have said 3 months back doesn't hold good anymore, because they are able to do that as well.
Correct.
Right? The pace at which it is running. So this is when I think our marketing head Surbhi was asking me a question exactly around this. So I kind of wrote her a statement. So I'm going to read it out for you, because I felt it was a nice one at that. So I think that is going to sum it up, right? Mm-hmm. We get to be architects of values, not executors of tasks.
Fantastic. So
right?
I think I'm going to.
Yeah, I said, I jokingly told her, okay, why don't you make placard of that. We get to be stewards of the systems, not operators of tools. Mm-hmm. Tools will be still operated by the agents. Mm-hmm. We define the systems, right? We get to be negotiators of ambiguity, not the processors of clarity, right? Mm-hmm. So this, when we spoke about and wrote this, we kept thinking about this is what humans would continue to do. Because I will give you later, as we keep discussing, I will give you a few examples. There are some phenomenal examples on the reason why human would exist in the automation industry and becoming important part of it. Are you a movie buff, Lokesh?
Not too much, but I do track.
Yeah.
I do
so
track
if any of the movie buffs are out there, if you have seen the Goodwill Hunting part of it, sure. Right? If it was an agentic AI, Will would have gone behind Skylark. So rather wouldn't have gone behind the Skylark, because sure. the decision wouldn't have been with the emotions and all of that. It would have been based on his career success rate and possibilities and all that, with the precise calculation of how good Will is, and then gone ahead with that. Mm-hmm. So he followed the heart, right? So the ending would have been different. Correct. So that's the answer to this. We both have managed large automation teams, right? Mm-hmm. But how do you think team structures change when the workers are agents, and what kind of center of excellence changes now with agents are being available for you 24/7, right? One of the examples you said earlier, so somebody going on a leave, a holiday, and all of that. So this
being very tactical, right? I started out saying the world operated as people process technology for a long time, and that served well both businesses and people in the tech industry. But I think what's happening is, as I said, now you have everything coming together. Now your newer capabilities like perception, reasoning, generation of content, generation of code, all of that happening. So I do feel the biggest change which would happen to COEs would be there will not exist siloed centers of excellence. Like you will not have a RPA COE, you will not have a data center of excellence, you will not have a BPM center of excellence, AI center of excellence, because these serve technology silo. It doesn't serve the end-to-end like you and Samit keep talking about. It's all about the process. That has remained the same. So these silos don't help the larger cause.
We see in the market the silo providers who ruled the roost for decades
Precisely, correct.
are struggling against us, right? So when we say that, yeah, this can also be done, that can also be done, and all of these are already integrated.
Correct. So I think that is going to be I feel if I have to say one thing, that will get destroyed very quickly. So like what we offer, platforms like EvoluteIQ will have the right focus. They've always focused on the larger problem. So I think we will do well. So now I have another thing, Sanjay, I wanted to get your perspective. We keep hearing about humans are going to become validators because agents are going to do everything. Is it real, or we are just doing grunt workers, agents will do everything, and then do you really think it will play out that way, or what will humans do in a world of agents?
We are going to be the value system for the overall agentic system, right? So if you think about it, for example, let me ask you a simple question. If an agent is told, do a good job doing this, what do you think the agent would construe what good is? It cannot.
It cannot, precisely.
It can only go behind the data, right? So what happens is the ambiguity. I'll tell you the value system. One example. In fact, we faced this problem during COVID. In fact, we were working with a particular country, in fact, which highly regulated country. You know that COVID, all the doctors and the systems actually went through a rough time, right? And because of that, the cancer surgeries and all those things became extremely difficult, right? So the cancer survivors were waiting for a long period of time for surgeries. Very few surgeons were available, very few slots were available. Now, we were told to automate this because there was a long list of queues.
Correct.
Okay, but think about this. Think about this. This is a. I'm glad that I'm not in that position to decide, but here is a dilemma. There is a 90-year-old person with 70% of chance of survival after this surgery, versus a 10-year-old boy or a 10-year-old child has 35% or 40% of chance of survival after the surgery. But the 10-year-old is 25th in the list and the 90-year-old is 3rd in the list. Who would you choose? What do you think an AI agent would choose? It would go with the statistics. It would say, yeah, 90-year-old has a chance, but 10-year-old has the entire life ahead. Doesn't mean that I'm not trying to demean the 90-year-old, because that's why I said glad that I'm not in the position of choice. So that is always going to be human. That cannot be replaced with an agent. Agent can give us a statistics, it can optimize, it can do a particular task, but this is so human.
I think that's really good, because that gives comfort to a lot of people who are afraid, getting confused, worried about the future. I think there are things which are uniquely human. They will always remain relevant. Great. I think reality check time, right? So we have seen automation projects fail. So what do you think? What can go wrong with agents, and how does EvoluteIQ? Because we are obviously doing very well, leaders. So what is it that we are doing well?
Interesting question. So what happened? I'll give you a couple of examples, right? So as soon as you know the hype curve, as soon as something new comes in, people go on the hype curve, saying that, oh, this is disruption, this is changing. I truly believe that agentic AI, generative AI is disruptive, absolutely, given that.
Correct.
But when you double click and check, has it realized, because the maturity took a long time. I still believe that we are still not fully mature in the agentic AI framework yet. We are on the roll.
Correct.
I would like to believe at least EvoluteIQ with its EIQ platform, we are a little ahead in the maturity curve there in terms of that. But where these agentic AI things are going to fail, I'll tell you, is in terms of these decisioning capabilities. Let me give you an example. A couple of years back, right, initially as soon as the AI, generative AI came in and all that, so there was one banking system, they customer of one of our partners, they were super excited about it and then said that, okay, we are going to automate the loan application process because that's the lowest end of the risk, because it is not the actual financial transaction, but more of a qualification and all of that. So why don't we automate that with agent? It did very good, right? Whatever 5-6 days of approval process became within 3-4 hours. Brilliant. So the automation was a brilliant success.
Correct.
But you know what happened, Lokesh? This was the funny part of it. What agent started deciding is that based on the pattern, it started saying that a particular zip code people are continuously defaulting. So it started automatically rejecting those, which was unethical, completely illegal.
There is
This
bias
was
creeping in.
Bias already crept in.
Correct.
Because of the data, right? So that was scandalous. They immediately brought it down because the first moment. So it can go wrong. Right now, you will see that the things will go wrong. So that is why, see, we have always heard, right? People, early adopters, always getting benefit. But in the AI first world today, early adopters have lost money, and that has actually told others to be cautious, be slow, be gentle with adoption and all that. So that's why people are becoming cautious, only using it to subsidiary, ancillary kind of automations to be then. Core is not touched.
Let's say, Sanjay, you are talking to VP of a RPA Center of Excellence, and the person is under tremendous pressure because they keep hearing RPA lost, they keep hearing RPA is dead and all of that. So if they ask you, should I pause, wait for agentic AI, or do I continue building? What's the pragmatic thing for the individual?
You know how much I like or dislike the RPA part of it, right? So I always blame it on our generation, Lokesh, that I think we did not do a good job in 80s and 90s in terms of microservices based architecture at that time. If that was the case, then 90% of the time RPAs should not have existed, right? So because naturally for the task automation, rest of the APIs and other things would have been good enough for that. Having said that, for the agent related part of it, for all the critical repetitive tasks that are there, which used to be done by an RPA, can easily replaced with an agent, given. However, still the computer actions related part of it, I gave one example, right? So cutting across a Citrix firewall,
Sure.
The customer is sitting in somewhere in US, and then you are supposed to act on that, but the data cannot move into the local geography because of the geographical kind of thing. So how do you act, still decide, still automate? Definitely RPA has a role in that. So those kind of automations will still be relevant. So the coming back to your question in terms of that, the head of the COE has a different job now. He will not be only he or she will not be only picking up the RPA tools and going ahead with, oh, you know what, I have 100 bots and feel happy about it. It won't solve his or her problem. It is going to be more in terms of more being analytical. How much can I actually convert that into agents that can solve it much better, efficient, and sooner and intelligently, rather than the dumb repetitive tasks that we automated.
That leads to, I think, the comment you made earlier about agents hallucinating. Clearly, right, data is a very important thing for any agentic AI to be successful. But the challenge with real enterprises is they have lots of data, all of it in silos. Even last night we were talking to a healthcare company in the West Coast, and that is the problem. They have petabytes of data, but it's all over the place. And last month, if you remember, we hosted the CTO, CIO. They have 30 million customer records, not monetizing it. Yeah. So I think there are lots of these anecdotal evidences we come across. So what do you think, how does that constraint play out for the success of agentic AI?
It actually is somewhat related to one of the questions that you had asked earlier, what agents can't do. Okay. Agents can't fix your data.
Great, great perspective. Yeah.
Agents can't fix your data. Now, when the data cannot be fixed, so I'm not talking about data classification, data genealogy, data taxonomy. That can be done by agents very well.
Correct.
But if your single source of truth itself is not true, agents can't fix it.
Yeah,
that's given
hygiene factor. That's a fundamental assumption. Correct.
Now, what has happened is that is where I keep talking about. A lot of people might be thinking, oh, what is he trying to do? Agentic AI, I separate it from agentic automation, is because the deterministic construct of the data, that needs to be the pipeline for agentic AI not to hallucinate. Okay, that's an important, extremely important construct. That is why, when was the last time you saw a database company actually advertising a database, which used to be the case a decade back?
Correct. Agree.
Now nobody is actually advertising the database because it is given a fact that you are going to store some data somewhere.
Correct.
But it is not it's not important where you store the data, but what do you do with that data?
Got
right.
It.
That is why we called it data flow, because way back in 2019 we did not have the data fabric as a term. So data fabric is the one which has come into the place, right? So now what is happening is that the data is coming together and creating the system of record, and this data fabric does not mean only the databases. The databases could be from any sources, right? So it could be from your SAP database, for example. Now, when somebody made a comment that SaaS is dead, it doesn't mean that the SaaS companies are going to be dead, but SaaS as a software will remain single source of truth.
Correct.
Right. So they become the custodians of a data. A sales data may be a Salesforce. Your ERP data may be SAP. But the overall agents and all that will orchestrate, and what you need is what is going to come up.
So Sanjay, I think as you track the media, right, and analysts, everybody is calling this the agentic age. But we've been here before over the last 3-4 decades. There's always this hype cycle, and then there's a trough of disillusionment where we feel, you know what, the promise never really materialized, or maybe my expectations were wrong, all of that, right? So where do you think we are in the whole agentic automation space? Where are we on the curve right now?
It's interesting, right? So analysts like Gartner and all that, they come up with this hype curve and all that, right? So now, interestingly, because of the pace at which it is going, right, Lokesh, we are going through multiple cycles of hype curve right now as we speak.
Okay.
Okay. So that's an interesting thing. We had never seen this pace at all. Been in industry for like nearly now like 38 years now. I have never seen
so change on every dimension, essentially.
Yeah. So what is happening is, as we see that the trough of disillusionment coming up on one cycle, there is another thread that has already started and going on to the hype already.
Got it.
Right. So you are actually seeing at the same time multiple threads on the same thing. So earlier what used to happen, it was very clear. Oh, you know what? Blockchain. It started, it went through the hype curve, and then you went through the trough, and then you the plateaued and all that. Right? So some industries started using it. So that was very simple thread. This, because of its impact in absolutely every single area of life, if you will, right? every single area of life, if you will, right? So today your WhatsApp has your own personal meta AI already integrated
Precisely,
into it, right?
correct.
So if you are feeling bored and you don't have anybody to talk to, you have a meta AI to talk to.
Talk to.
Who knows only your secrets, nobody else's.
Nobody.
So that's why multiple hype curves are, that is why it has become agentic age. In fact, that was the title of my book, which I wrote it 3 or 4 times. By the time my draft gets completed, the age would have moved on and something else. So it would be like a historian. I would
that
not.
triggers, you are probably the right person to answer this. That triggers a related question. Let's say I am somebody trying to formulate my automation strategy. So I'm in a tough place because there are multiple hype cycles maturing, some fail. So what advice would you give me? Where is this headed?
Actually speaking, automation COE head has many options today and it sounds confusing. But if you focus on the problem, if you look at the challenges that he or she would be having, the answers are actually coming out very simple.
Got it.
What he or she should do now is that not just go with the hype curve, because tools will keep getting better and better. And it is not my platform versus your platform, because whatever feature possibly I will have, you will also have over a period of time. So it is not that. So don't focus on, okay, do I have a right click there? Do I have a left click here? It doesn't make any sense any longer.
Correct.
Now what you will have to look at is that, is the system of choice, will it be able to give the traditional deterministic pipes of a process, data, events, ML, decisioning capabilities, connector systems of iPaaS and all that. All these, and the predictive ML, please remember, with all the hype of agents and generative AI, predictive AI is becoming more and more relevant, because you need, as we say it in Indian context, right, to do a right amount of masala, you need right amount of tadka and the masala together, right?
Correct.
You cannot have one more and one less.
Agreed.
So this is the thing, predictive AI and the generative AI is going to be the solution provider. So for this COE person has to look at the platform of choice, should give best of both worlds, integrated coherently at the hip. So it cannot be separated out as, oh, this is given by that, this is given by that, how do I integrate?
Got it. So as we wrap up, right, any final thoughts, Sanjay, for practitioners, for technologists and people who are living in these exciting times or anxious times? So any final thoughts?
Get on to the agentic AI, don't be afraid, but at the same time, be aware of the area that you are actually trading on, right? So for example, I asked this question last week to somebody on one of the calls. If I am your healthcare agent and I am okay 90% of the time, would you be willing to take this agent? She said, absolutely no way.
No, correct.
Right? Now, that is the context that you will have to address as a automation space, right? What is the area of address that you want to automate? What are the percentage of hallucination you are willing to work with so that your business context works? And how do you bring human in the loop to cover the gaps and make sure that you automate faster, you do not compromise with your business goals and your bottom line or your top line, whichever you are working towards, and your overall system remains in the good value system that your company wants to actually achieve.
Good, great. For me, it's like probably I'll wrap it up with a couple of analogies, right? So when obviously I'm weak in physics, but when air travel came in, let's say 120 years back, that was a completely new paradigm. People knew how to go on earth surface, how to go in water. Now people suddenly realize, you know, there's air all over the place, and we could actually, that can be a medium. I equate AI and agentic AI something similar, because it's now the realm of possibilities. It is not just another means of transportation, medium, point A to point B. This is about a completely different way. And therein lies the opportunity for humans, goes to what you keep saying all the time, right? We all need to play to our strengths. So there's no point trying to, I mean, we try to cover our weaknesses, but then we always have to play to our strengths. So I think despite the promise, despite the advances in technology, humans have a unique capability. We have strengths and we need to play to that. So people should not be trying to do, I used to do this and now the agent has taken over. It's not about that. It's about what am I good at? I'm inherently curious. I have AGI capabilities. I can do a lot of things which a machine cannot do. That's how I look at it.
That's fantastic. In fact, that's the wrap up of this. In fact, with this age of lightning speed at which we are going with the agentic AI, so here is a chance to create our own world of stories, right? So you can create your own adventures, you can create your own stories, you can create your own assistants that you never had earlier with absolutely no cost associated, right? So you can actually get to that reality extremely faster and sooner, so that you become a smarter worker than the repetitive worker that used to be earlier, what was the regular phenomena, right? So let us go there and change the world as it changes. Thank you.
If you enjoyed this episode of the EIQ Waves podcast, don't forget to share, subscribe, and leave a comment, and stay tuned for brand new episodes that shaped the future of enterprise automation.